Okay, go live when you're ready.
Hey, Ruben.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, everybody. I don't know if you can hear us, but I know I'm going to share this real quick while I can with on my page and see if it goes through, and then I'm going to share with Bob. But here's my surprise, guys. It's not a surprise anymore, is it?
We don't know that. We don't know that.
I'm here with a friend of mine that you probably know from the band The Happenings years ago. I was just telling him that song that they sang was probably the best song I ever heard years ago, and I still love it. But I have one of the guys from The Happenings here. His name is Bob Kulik. Welcome to Hamilton Radio.
Thank you, Gene. Hello, everyone out there in internet land.
It's a crazy world, isn't it, really?
It
Because we
is.
got all digital today.
It is.
And I asked Bob, and Bob was like, I want to come in the studio. I'm like, okay, Bob, that's fine. That's fine. Well, I can't share it on my page, so anybody can't see it. So, but it is on my friend's page, and I'm going to try to share it with Bob. But anyway, let's start, Bob. Let's start out with your singing career. How you got started in singing, and then we'll go into how you
How
got
I
into
got
the
started
happenings.
singing.
And then I'll come in. I'll drop in.
Everybody asks me about, how do you get started? Did you do formal training and whatever? And here's the first story I tell them. At the age of 8, I remember singing in my parents' basement to records, holding a screwdriver as a microphone, and realizing that I had some kind of talent. And really it went on from there. And listening to different artists, Frank Sinatra, whoever it might have been. My mother was bringing records in, and there was always singing around the house, and so at the risk of saying came natural, it kind of did. It was there. I mean, it's all of us who sing well, and have had some success. I think it's a God-given thing, and where you go with that is up to you. So. In my family, on my father's side, there were musicians. On my mother's side, not so much. But she sang all the time. So she would bring records into the house, and I would, sing along with the records. And eventually found that I had a range. I could sing lower, I could sing higher. And I just kept practicing, and eventually I also took up the drums, which became my instrument. And I played drums, and I sang. And that's really how I got started. Went to school as a musician, and for 2 years studied drums and band and all that kind of stuff, and got into groups and played. Fortunately, made a living for now it's been 50 years or so. So yeah, that's really how it started for me.
That's really awesome. So, what was you love the old music, right? You like the old music?
Oh yeah, oh sure. Sinatra is my favorite by far. I love Tony Bennett. I love the
Tony.
big.
Tony's amazing.
Yeah,
Tony is just amazing.
Being a musician, and this probably being a trumpet player, I would listen to jazz also, and instrumental jazz, big band music, jazz, and played a lot of those kind of things. Back in the late 60s, early 70s, I knew when I was studying my drums and actually schooling, I could read charts and stuff too. I can't do it anymore, because I got away from it. But yeah, so those kind of performers, those kind of bands, and of course, as I got older, or 60s stuff, music changed obviously, and the Beatles changed a lot of things, and I always tended to drift towards really good melodies as a singer, and harmonies. So I always liked that kind of stuff also. So that's where, ironically enough, I was in a group in the early 70s, and we recorded a couple songs, one being Love is a Many Splendid Thing.
Oh.
And it's on that Happening CD that I gave you.
Well, the Four Aces originally did it without authors, right?
But we recorded it, and back then, ironically, I said, boy, this sounds like a Happening song, because it had the high octave and the low octave, and that's how we sang it, and then harmony would come in. never knowing that at some point I was going to be a happening. So it was really kind of funny. And I played that record from Bob Miranda, who was the original lead singer, and the group's founding member. And I said, Bob, it sounds like you guys. It's like 1972 or so, like that. We did that record, and it was funny. So yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you too about the songs. How did you go about, or did the record company actually go out and look for songs for you guys, or did you go?
The happenings. Let me just clarify something up front. I wasn't an original member. I came in kind of later on, but I was there for 30 years, which is a long time. But I know all the stories. I know the guys. Bob Miranda was the founding member. And the group was originally called the Four Graduates, and they had local records, okay? Right. And Bob would write songs. He wrote a few of the songs, and so he would be in the Brill Building, and eventually the Tokens were there, of course, and the Four Graduates. He wanted to bring those guys up to the Tokens office and let them audition, and they did audition. The Tokens loved them and signed them to a recording contract, and. They had, Bob tells the story of how they picked the name The Happenings. At the time, happening was a real great word in the language. This is happening, man.
Right, yeah.
We are happening. It's a happening. So they picked that, but they had a string of names like, the Sour Lemons and ridiculous names. Yeah. But for the time,
Bubble Puppy.
There was some strange names out there. You know that. So they got signed to BT Puppy Records, And the first song they released was a song called Girls on the Go. I was telling Gene earlier. Didn't do much. In Boston, it was kind of a fair hit. Mm-hmm. And then what they did was, the formula there was to take older songs, and a lot of artists did this, and remake them. So they took a song by the Tempos, who released "See You in September" in 1959, originally, and it was more of a slow cha-cha thing, See you, boom, 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 in some, and they put in the bye-byes, so long, farewells, and released "See You in September," and the rest is kind of history. So they kind of picked their own songs with the help of the Tokens, Go Away Little Girl was a Carole King song originally released by Steve Lawrence in 1961. Right. They did it in 66, 67 with their own little style, and it went. I Got Rhythm was a George Gershwin song, and Bob tells the story of how they would work. They would sing I Got Rhythm in concerts, and people would go, who's the artist? Did you guys write that? Nobody was aware that the younger kids didn't know George Gershwin, Ira Gershwin, didn't know. And at the beginning of that song, I Got Rhythm, in this fast and troubled world, Bob Miranda actually wrote that intro. He actually wrote that. So he's written some great songs. There was a song called, on their first album, it was called Girl on a Swing, which is written by him, which it's actually picked up by Jerry and the Pacemakers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And released after, they released that after Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying.
Okay.
The name was the album was actually Girl on a Swing. It was a little more up tempo, and the Happenings did more of a ballad, which I happen to like more. So they went through a lot of songs, a lot that they picked themselves, and with the help of the Tokens, picked some of the songs, And I know Jay Siegel very well from the Tokens, and Jay, matter of fact, I had a massive heart attack in 2017, and I literally died on the table twice.
Oh wow!
And God didn't really, but Jay was one of the first people that got back to me and called me up. How you doing? And Tommy Patilla from the Duprees, a lot of people, Dennis Stefano, Buckingham's. I've met a lot of great people over the 30 years that I was with the group. Made a lot of friends, and obviously Bob Miranda was calling me all the time, and so I was there till about 2018, and decided out that I had a heart attack. That, I don't want to be doing it. I got to control my own destiny a little bit, and I was already doing a solo thing by myself, basically in Jersey, and using tracks, to have a band and try to make a living now. economically just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I went out with my own thing. Unfortunately for me, the niche that I've kind of carved for myself is when I sing artists, I get very close to who they sound like. I have that going for me. So that's really, that's I believe people want to hear the records like they were, as close as they want. They don't
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
It's not the '60s anymore, where you have the band jamming for, Indigada Davida for 17 minutes. People, you lose the crowd like
Yeah,
that. And people want to come out and dance. I mean, if it's this COVID thing, if it calmed down, people are going to be crazy
Yeah,
as
right,
far as
yeah.
dancing are concerned.
Yeah. Oh, I
They
agree,
just want to get out and do it. So.
Yeah. So music is a part of your life, right?
It is my life. Yeah, really. It is really my life.
Is there? I'll get to this later. I was going to ask you, is there anything else you want to do? But the thing about when you almost die. I mean, I had a mini stroke, so I can really understand what you're saying. But you have that surge of like, what didn't I do?
Yeah.
And
Well,
what do I want to do? And how can I make it bigger? How can I invite more people?
yeah. It's harder to do that.
Who can I touch?
Yeah.
Because music touches everybody.
Yes, and I don't know if this is true, but after the heart attack, I was laid up for about 8 months. I was in ICU for a week. Then I had a weird thing called a life vest. It's just recently. This was 3 years ago. So recently they just put a defibrillator in me too, which is fine. Whatever it takes. That's the way I look at it. But once I started getting out again, people were telling me, "Oh, you sing better than you sounded before." I don't know if that's true or
Yeah.
not, but if it's true, it's because you have a rebirth, and you thank God that you're alive.
Yeah.
And you go with more gusto into what you do. So that was one of the reasons that when I left the group, because I was busier than the group was at that time for myself, and there was a lot of conflict in the sense of, I would get calls to do retirement communities or weddings or whatever it might be, and my priority was the happening. So I would have to tell people, I can't really do that. I can't commit to it right now. And what would happen is they wouldn't work on that particular day, and I would lose that job. So I sat with I have 2 boys. I sat with my boys and my wife and said, I'm busy. It's time to just, to lay up the happenings, put it down for now, and just do this, which is what I did, And I since I've left the group, I've actually worked with them a couple times still, So I'll still go out occasionally with the group, but basically they've replaced me with a good friend of mine named Eddie Gordio, who was actually in a group called the Johnny Maestro Tribute Band.
Oh.
Do you know about them?
Yeah.
Ed is the Johnny Maestro figure, and that's Grace Mastrangelo, who's Johnny's wife. That's her project.
Okay.
So occasionally,
Just for the heck of it, let's tell them who they were from, the Crest and Brooklyn Bridge.
yes, Johnny,
Because my audience is like all over the place.
right. Johnny passed away about 10 years ago, suddenly, and a wonderful guy. We've worked. I've had the great pleasure of working with him many times with the happenings, and he should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's one of the greatest voices to ever come.
I totally agree.
Ever. But John passed away, and the Brooklyn Bridge is out there now, and ironically and sadly enough, other guys have gone from the bridge. Freddie Ferrara, this past year, Les Couchy, who was a member of the Del Satins also.
Right.
So, but they're still out there. They're working. They've got a guy named Joe Esposito singing the leads now, and Joe is a talent by himself. Joe was a member of a group called the Brooklyn Dreams, and if you listen to the song "Heaven Knows" by Donna Summer, that's Joe singing the male part with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he wrote songs for the Karate Kid, and just a great guy. And he's doing the lead parts for the Bridge now.
Nice.
So the Johnny Maestro tribute band is something that John's wife wanted to put out there.
Right.
And she formed that. And Ed Gordio, who has now replaced me in the happenings, is doing the Johnny Maestro part. So when the Johnny Maestro band works on or has jobs on the same days that the happenings might have a job, I'll go in and I'll sing with the happenings.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm just saying, some people said they can barely hear you. That's because it's on.
Barely
this.
hear me?
Yeah, it's because it's on here.
I'll get closer to the microphone.
No, it's not. I don't think it's that. I think it's just that there is no sound source here.
Oh.
It's just you and I here, you know. But what I want to say is, looking back on your career, I mean, you must see a lot of that, you know, and I don't mean in a bad way, but a lot of the people passing away.
Yes.
And then you look, and it's sad because they're trying to keep what they want with the music alive, of stuff they remember.
Right.
And they're trying to share with people that remember the music as well.
Which makes it even more wonderful, and for lack of a better word, that I'm still here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It really
Absolutely.
makes me realize how lucky I really am. You know, so yeah, I have. I mean, I've lost a friend named John Sebastian, not the one from the Lovin' Spoonful,
Right.
but I've known him for 45 years, and he was, you know, part of this new group that I'm with called the Jukebox Legends, and you know Joe Leo.
Joe, yeah.
Yeah,
And the other
Joe's
guy
great,
too,
and
yeah.
Billy Zagary's great, and you know, we've all known each other for a long, long time. All been in the business, you know. And when John passed, you know, a lot of people that were coming to see the legend would say, you know, "Why don't you ask Bob? Why don't you ask Bob?" You know, and Bob's got his own thing going on, so they didn't know it. But finally, I got the call, and they asked me, and I said, "I'd love to do it. You know, I'd love to do it." So we're doing that, and we've only done one thing so far because we've been rained out of everything else outside. But we're going to be on the boardwalk in Seaside Heights on August 31st, Monday, next Monday, and then I think September 2nd. I'd have to look on my face. September 2nd, we're going to either be in Bayville. I think it's Bayville, Traders Cove Marina, and then the 5th, Berkeley Township, down the shore. Yeah, the 5th is definitely Berkeley, at 3 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock on September 2nd at Bayville, Traders Cove Marina, and 7 o'clock on the boardwalk in Seaside Heights at Franklin Avenue. So between that and anything I do outdoors by myself, I'm a busy guy, you know, thank God.
You're wanted. People love you. Isn't that a great feeling, though? Come on.
It's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling. And quite honestly, Gene, I've earned it. It's been a long time I've been doing this. And so have Joe and Billy. So they both sing great. And together, we're making great music. So I love it. I love it, you know. So I can't complain about it.
I got to be honest with you guys. We saw the Jukebox Legends, right?
Mm-hmm.
There with John. Up in there was Trenton, where actually I'm from, in an Elks Lodge, and every song you just want to sing with. Every song you absorb it in your body, and you just want. Oh, I can't wait, and you know, and then when they do their special, the sound and stuff they have, it's just amazing. I love the way they do the shows.
Yeah, John had an incredibly high voice, and he and I. About 3 weeks prior to when he passed, I went over his house. We did a couple things. We did "You Make Me Feel Brand New" by the Stylistics. He did this. I did the bottom. He did the top. It's on Facebook. It's on my Facebook page. And we did "Let It Be Me" by the Everly Brothers. And we were going to do more things together, you know. And you know, when I was asked to join the group, it's quite an honor, you know. And I don't pretend to try to step into John's shoes. I even told Billy and Joe. I said, "Look, I don't want to do John's songs. I've had plenty of my own stuff we'll do. You know, we do See in September. Eventually we'll get maybe a couple more happening songs in there. But we haven't had the opportunity to get together because Billy's moving into a new house and he's trying to get that together. And we've been rained out of things. So that'll come together eventually. But yeah, I said, I don't want to, nobody can replace him, you know, John. So I said, I'll just do my thing, you know. Yeah. So yeah, so it's all good. It's all good, you know.
So in light of music today, right? And I always ask all performers. I asked Alcantara. I ask you, what do you tell performers today? I mean, they're just coming out, kids at school and stuff like that. That you know, the whole paradigm has shifted, changed.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you're asking me that because I just went to a party Sunday. And they had a acoustic guitar player he was singing, young guy, in his 20s probably. He was excellent, excellent. And he had that Michael Bublé kind of voice, you know. And his name was, I think his name was Chris. And I said to, you know, he was talking to me and everything. And I said, you know what, man, just follow your dream. If you're I said, you're great. If you want to do this, you just have to, you know, follow your dream and keep plugging away. And when those turns come up and those forks come up in the road, make the right decision, you know. I mean, do what you got to do. So he's, you know, he went to college and everything. His parents are both professors, and but I just, you know, I said, you sound great. I said, and I actually told him, I said, you know, you should add some tracks to your act, because it's really an acoustic act at this point. You know, I said, you'd be great. And, you know, it's difficult now because there's no restaurants open to begin with, no place to go.
Right.
You know, recording careers, very tough because everybody has their own studios. They record in their own place.
That's true.
And they release it on the internet because there's no, you know, although albums are coming back to buy at a ridiculous price, I might add.
$35.
Yeah,
It's a single album.
it's crazy, you know. So to tell a young performer, and the other thing is, the younger people, like you watch The Voice or you watch America's Got Talent or American Idol, great singers, but they have nowhere to go. There's no trenches to work in. You know, they have these things, and they sing on the internet and stuff. And I've heard stories of how they go on their tours, and a week into the tour, they're losing their voices already because they're not singing 6 nights. When I started, it was 6 nights a week, all the time.
Oh, wow.
4 hours a night. You know, it's a muscle. You have to develop it. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't really exist because economically it's hard for bands to make any money. You know, groups. It's just too many people, and nobody wants to pay the money anymore.
Well, bar owners have been doing that for years, and I'm not saying anything to knock the bar owners, but I don't understand when you have quality guys like Bob and a Jukebox Legend, why you wouldn't want them there and spend a few $100.
Yeah.
I don't think it's expensive.
But in defense of some of the bar owners, restaurants, they do hire. They're not afraid to pay the money, and you know, for myself, you know, I don't charge ridiculous prices. You know, I really don't, even for private affairs, because you know, it's a good amount of money. Don't get me wrong, but I feel very lucky to be doing what I love and making some money on doing it. You know what I'm saying? So. You know, it just depends, you know, and it's tough times now. So it's hard for young people to get started.
So, Bob, would you ever consider working outside your realm? You know, doing soundtracks for movies and stuff like that?
I'd love to do it if I had the right connections to do it.
Well, like you said, you have the Sinatra voice. You have that. You know.
Well, I try to get close, and if people thought that would work for them, you know, I actually did some of this back in the 80s. There was a studio in Sayreville, New Jersey called Century Productions. And it's actually where Bon Jovi rehearsed his first album, Slippery When Wet.
Right.
Okay. And they would have clients that wanted commercials. So one of the commercials I remember doing, you got to sound like Barry Manilow on this one. And they took one of Barry Manilow's songs, but put words for the company.
Right.
You know, so I've done that kind of thing. And who I'm really close to as far as sounding, people tell me, is Neil Diamond. They tell me, if you close your eyes, you swear Neil Diamond was in front of you singing. And I've actually shared some of my songs to Neil Diamond groups in Australia. People have come back to me and went, oh my God, you know, I see the comments and stuff. Very nice comments, you know, it's him. You got to listen, it's him, you know. But I've had some crazy comments. One guy wrote to me, I love your voice, you had a great voice, but I don't like your shirt.
I don't like your shirt.
I don't like your shirt. You know, crazy stuff, you know. I mean, it's just
crazy.
People, I guess they feel they're on there and they can say what they want. What am I going to do?
You know, you got to take the good with the bad. He liked her singing, right?
That was it. Another guy said, because I would post it to the group, he goes, you again? Kind of thing. What am I going to say? What am I going to say?
I get that too. We get that as radio hosts and entertainers that well, you're a glory hound. And it's got nothing to do with glory. It's got nothing to do with hogging the light or anything. It's just it's something we want to do. We want to perform.
Yeah, I sing and I try to sing. Especially now, right?
Right.
You want it to be relevant, whether you're a DJ or a singer or an entertainer and stuff. I mean, they're all over Facebook. People, I'm not crazy about the tip jar thing. I don't like that. I think that's a little tacky. But I understand.
I understand why too, but tip jar. I don't. It's almost like when you go to Dunkin' Donuts, and you get a coffee, you spend $1, and then people see the tips there and usually give $1. I mean, I do the same thing. But you're compelled because you feel bad for the people that are working there, and you're compassionate for the place, and But you're right. Tip jar to me is like, put it there if somebody feels like putting it on there, but don't promote it so much.
Yeah, I'm just happy. I mean, for me, when I sing my song, I'm happy to sing and I make people happy. I mean, when I did one song, I did "Save the Last Dance" for me before I had the defibrillator put in. So I said, "This is my last song I'm going up for a defibrillator. I'm going to take some time off." You know how many defibrillator comments I got from people? Oh, I just had one. I had one 17. You're going to be fine. 17 years I've had mine in. I'm getting one in next week, Tuesday. It was like, but people, they're great. I mean, it's just, I've had only 99% great positive results. Yeah. So it makes you feel good, makes them feel good to hear stuff, memories, because they can't go anywhere. So, not only me, but all the other entertainers that come on Facebook that entertain, it's great. So, and I think a lot of people have found new careers in Facebook singing.
Oh yeah.
I'm singing, So it is what it is. It's okay,
So we start back with the music again, and we talk about you were with this band and with that band. Is there any bands that you would have wanted to be with in the '60s, like maybe the Four Seasons?
Oh, that wouldn't happen.
No, I mean,
in fact, I was just to lunch with one of my. He's 87 years old now. His name is Joe Long. He replaced Nick Massey in the Four Seasons in 1966, right, and was with them for 12, 13 years. So I go to lunch with Joe all the time. Joe talks to Tommy DeVito all the time. Tommy's 92 years old now. He lives in Vegas, and. Would I want to be in another band? I don't know. Being in the Happenings was great. I mean, it encompassed a lot of what I like, great melodies, great harmonies, and I've met so many people, and become friends with so many people. I can't complain. I just can't complain. I just very fortunate, very fortunate. So. That I'm alive and that I've been able to meet all these people, and they respect my talent and I respect their talent. That's even better,
Very nice,
yeah.
Well, I want to do a couple shout outs too. We were just talking about some of the people that we talked to, but Dave Zane tunes in every now and then.
Dave.
Dave's a great guy.
I think I commented when you had Dave on the show.
Yes, you did, and that's why I'm.
Yeah. Hello to Dave. Yeah. And he said, I thought we did more shows together, but I think he said one show, but for some reason I thought Dave was behind us for more than one show.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a great player. Great player.
Dave's a great guy too.
Yeah.
And of course, if you don't know who Dave Zane is, look him up on Facebook or IMDb or any other spots. He was with the Buckinghams and the Tokens, I believe, and
he's backed up a lot of people.
A lot of people, yeah. And was with even the Grassroots at one time. He told me, which was great. But everybody knows you from the Happenings, and
well, I hope so. I don't know, but I
no,
hope so.
But I mean that's how I know you.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I assume that everybody else knows you the same way, but I could be wrong.
Could be.
But the thing is, the songs, the lyrics. Oh my God. Again, See You in September. They hit you. I mean, it's about going back to school, but See You in September, meeting your girlfriend again. That's what I used to.
They actually banned that song when 9/11 happened.
Oh, because
that
of
was
My Home
one of the songs on Clear Channel that they banned. I mean, makes no sense to me, but I guess because it has September.
That's
in it.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Come on. That's
I know. That was
absolutely
crazy.
ridiculous.
Crazy. But also on the positive side, Entertainment Weekly magazine voted See You in September one of the top 100 songs
Absolutely.
of all time, summer songs of all time. Yeah.
Now, some of the other songs you said that you guys did. Now, I know we talked about I Got Rhythm. That was from a play, right? Or a movie?
Yeah. I'm not sure
You know,
what
I don't-
play. I don't like Ethel Merman's voice. That's just me.
That's
But she sang that song.
she's got that.
Yeah, she's got a lot of vibrato in her song. Not crazy about it. And but hey, you don't knock success. I mean, a very successful singer. It's just a matter of taste. I don't remember what movie or play that might have been from. I Got Rhythm, but of course, Go Away Little Girl was written by Carole King and recorded by Steve Lawrence.
Right.
My Mammy, which we released in 1968, written by Al Jolson. And we've done other songs that they didn't get as high as those four. We've done our versions of Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, Sealed with a Kiss, songs
Everybody
like that.
does that one.
Yeah. And I've worked with Brian Hyland, who had the original
Right.
song many times, a great guy also. We, and Bob Miranda, like I said, wrote Girl on a Swing. He wrote a song called, if anybody gets the greatest hits of the happening, it'll be on there. A song called Randy, which from my perspective, I don't know why it didn't become a hit, but it's a great song, so it's a lot of all good tunes, The Happenings and the Four Seasons were one of the only two sweet sounding vocal groups in the middle. When you think about 1966, when The Happenings season, September, in the middle of the British invasion, hard rock, all that kind of stuff. So between us and the Four Seasons, there's actually a post on, which is wrong, on YouTube showing a picture of the Four Seasons, and it says "See You in September." And when you play it, it's actually The Happenings. But some people, when See You in September first came, some people thought it was Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons because it was similar. But if you really listen to it, you can hear the difference in Bob's falsetto and Frankie's falsetto.
Right.
But so I'm just very as far as getting into another group. Nah.
Happy where you're at.
I'm happy, and I mean, if somebody came along that was a record group and asked me, I'd have to think about it. But that hasn't happened. So, and I think that it probably wouldn't happen because of out of respect for The Happenings, because I was there so long. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it's funny is when I was talking to Tristan Bowden a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about that too. And he said, every time I thought that something wouldn't happen, it happened. And you just told me that same thing.
Oh, yeah?
Because with the Jukebox Legends, you told me.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think what was going on, going to do anything. And then suddenly somebody called me and said, get Bob.
Yeah.
So, and then there you are. So we never say never in the interview.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know.
Let me see if we have any questions. Oh, Dave, my friend Dave is there. Oh, yeah, Lisa Sandifer says hi. Lisa Sandifer.
Hello, Lisa.
Dave Canyon. Our guest is Bob Kulik. He's from The Happenings.
Not from Kiss. Not from Kiss.
I didn't say Kiss.
No. But there's a Bob Kulik that's in
there's
Kiss.
another Bob Kulik?
Yeah, but he spelled his name with a C, his last name with a C. I've had that problem. I went to a retirement community to do a show.
Oh, I thought you were Bob Kulik from Kiss.
And a guy comes up, a younger guy. After before I took a break, he comes, I came here because I thought Bob Kulik from Kiss was going to be here. I said, well, I'm not him. I got a little more hair than Bob. I don't have a mustache, and I don't spell my name the same way. So, yeah, I've had that happen too.
Oh, that's funny. That is hilarious. So, yeah, well, so pursuing your career, and, we talked about a lot of different things. The music, would you consider the music from, and I've argued with people with this too, the music from the 60s, like
best decade ever.
No, not that. Would you consider that an extension of doo-wop with the harmonies? or doo-wop as well? Because it's not doo-wop. Doo-wop
No,
is,
it's not doo-wop. In my opinion, it's not.
It's not doo-wop.
It's not doo-wop. No, no. I mean,
I argued with
from a
people
music
about that.
from a music standpoint, chord structures are different, more intricate. Harmony wise, yeah, I could see some of the harmonies. But it's not the same kind of harmony. I mean, you listen to harmonies for the Beatles, or you listen to harmonies for the Lovin' Spoonful, or the Association.
Right.
They're so much more intricate than the doo-wop stuff. Not that they didn't listen to that kind of stuff.
Right.
But the orchestrations, the chord structures, in my opinion, anyway, and the harmonies are more difficult. And I think I don't want to get people yelling at me, but
No, these are
in
your
my
opinion. It's your
opinion, I think the '60s was the best era
Yeah.
in a sense of melodies. From songwriters and stuff like that. A lot of great stuff in the '50s. Don't get me wrong. In my solo thing, I don't do a lot of '50s doo-wop. I do more '50s things like Bobby Rydell or Bobby Darin. I'll do the Skyliners, that kind of thing. But I don't get into a lot of the doo-wop stuff in that sense. And that was one of the things when I was asked to join the Jukebox Legends. I said, guys, you do a lot of doo-wop stuff, and I don't know that stuff. I mean, I know it, and I'll do Dion, I'll sing Dion, but I sing the lead.
Yeah.
I don't know the background, so I had to learn backgrounds to do songs,
Right.
to Dion songs, that I normally would be singing lead to, but Joe would sing something, or Billy, and I'm doing the background, which is cool because it's a whole another experience for me, But I love the decade of the '60s. I have a lot of friends that do. The happenings always were put in what I think I consider doo-wop shows because of our harmonies. But we were in the middle '60s,
Right. right.
But we got on bills with Larry Chance, the
Larry's a great
Shirelles,
guy,
the classics, Randy and the Rainbows, the Tokens.
Yeah.
Well, the Tokens, I think more of a '60s act also. Honestly, So that's my opinion on that. Don't shoot me, folks. Just my opinion.
He's just a messenger.
No,
He's just
yeah,
don't shoot him.
I love the '50s, and I have a lot of great friends and groups in the '50s. So I've worked with them too. But my favorite decade is the '60s, really. Yeah, no, hands down, '60s over the '70s, '50s, '80s, whatever.
Oh, here's a Sinatra question. What decade do you think Sinatra shined the most?
Probably the '50s when he joined Capitol Records. Although I liked the older Sinatra when he matured more and he was with Reprise, a lot of my opinion is this: a lot of singers don't when they get older lower the keys to their songs,
They keep singing the higher things,
and
they
it's a
can't reach the
mistake.
register.
It's a mistake. Sinatra didn't make that mistake. He lowered the keys, and with that came a new, more poignant sound from his voice, But I think the '50s, after he won the Academy Award for From Here to Eternity and joined Capitol and got Nelson Riddle, probably his greatest work era. But a lot of great things in the '60s too,
Well, that's what I'm saying, and then that's what I'm trying to say. I grew up in the '60s.
Here's my Sinatra song
Go ahead.
question to you.
Go ahead.
What song did Frank Sinatra absolutely hate? Absolutely hated it.
Oh, wasn't that I'm not sure. I think it was the Beatles song.
No, not something. Not that
No,
one.
wasn't that one?
No.
Because I thought he mentioned that in Madison Square Garden when he did Madison Square Garden.
That's not the one.
Okay, tell us. I don't-
Strangers in the Night.
Oh, because they kept asking him, let's sing it all the time?
No,
or-
he just never liked the song from day one. If you're a Sinatra buff, and I am, I have all the DVDs and concerts. If you go back to the concert for the Americas in 1982,
Oh, that's right.
they requested him to do that song. He does the song. He turns around to Vinnie Falcone, his pianist, and you can hear it. This is the worst effing song I ever heard. That's what he says.
What do you mean by chord structure? Or he didn't go into
He
detail?
just didn't like the song. I don't know the reason why. It was a number one song for him.
I know.
I don't know the reason why that is. And it could have been because he sang it too much in the beginning. I don't know. But he complained about singing My Way too much, at points too. You know, you say when you sing it 8 years in a row.
I think you get see. That's what I was going to say. I think singers and songwriters and musicians get tired of singing their old, and then you know, everybody has a different opinion of this too. But I think you're right. I think it's part of, you know, you keep singing the same songs over and over again because people. I was listening to a thing with Jeff Lynne from ELO, and he said that I don't mind singing the songs because the people appreciate them. He says, I just get so sick and tired of them.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what we're hearing here from a lot of the musicians. They're so tired for 20, 30, 40 years of singing the same
You know,
songs over and over again.
I told you that Neil Diamond is one of the
Yeah.
voices I really cop well. So with the happenings all the time, in the shows, every show, I had to sing Sweet Caroline. And it was just, it's like there's so many other Neil Diamond. I understand why I'm singing it, because we really got a good response from the crowd. You get them involved. But, you know, and that's not even my song. So it's like, you know, I don't want to sing this anymore, you know. But you have to do it. Even my solo thing, when I do Neil Diamond, I do plenty of his songs. Could you do Sweet Caroline, please? Oh, sure, I can, you know. So.
Let's see. I just want to see. Give a shout out, of course, to some people here. Okay, they're just talking. But yeah, I mean, the music to me is a healing force, and I originally told you why I started this radio station, because I just got tired of hearing all the BS out there.
Right.
You know, and the same song, same over and over. I mean, Andre Gardner talked about this the other day. He said, if I had a Beatles station, he said, I'm sorry, I couldn't just play all Beatles. And I said, I totally agree. I couldn't just play all Frank Sinatra. I couldn't play all just
That's
Tony
why you
Bennett.
have Sirius XM with the Beatle channel.
Yep.
Willie Nelson, whatever, Sinatra.
And you can change over
And
whenever
you can
you want.
change and listen to whatever you want to do. You know?
But then you can even take it further and bring in bands like you guys. You know, the Happenings, Dion, and all that stuff.
I know.
And Dion's constantly, just say, Dion he just came out with another new song recently with Paul Simon, and new album. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot
See how he
of
keeps reinventing himself?
Yes, he's incredible. He's incredible. I was very fortunate to spend time with him. Excuse me. I do this thing called the Malt Shop Cruise. You know. Okay, pardon me. I'll take a drink here.
Go ahead, take your time.
And I was lucky enough to spend some time with him and Bobby Rydell on the same cruise Dion was on. And he's just, I mean,
It's a ball
his
of
show
fire.
is great. He's just a great guy. And it's just, he has a whole new CD album, whatever you want to call it, with all these different artists on it, singing a lot of blues stuff, rock and roll. He just keeps going, man. He just keeps going. Yeah.
I guess that's the key to life for him, right? Just keep on going. And
he's 80 years old now.
Yeah.
I don't look it, but he's 80.
Last hurrah, probably, as far as music wise.
I guess.
You never know. Never know.
I think he'll keep doing it until he can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what we have to do. But do you guys have any questions for this guy? Let's see. Oh, Jerry says she's coming up soon to meet you. Jerry, this was supposed to be a surprise.
You better come up sooner because I'm going to be leaving soon.
He's going to be leaving in a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're going to go do this, to 2? Or you want to leave earlier?
Well, right now, I actually have to go
to get out of here?
to the boys' room.
Okay. We're going to let him go to the bathroom. He's going to
talk. I'll come back for a couple more minutes.
Okay, he'll come back for a couple more minutes. That's fine. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's fine. And then, I have things that I have to do, but I'm loving every minute of this, Gene.
I appreciate it. And Bob, this is Bob. Bob wanted to come to the studio. I was going to do him through Zoom.
Yeah, I wanted to
Make
come.
it convenient, but he wanted to come to the studio, and I said, that's fine.
So I probably put you out more than I put myself
it didn't
out.
put me out at all.
Let me just go over to do
Go ahead.
what my biz. I'll be right back.
Okay. But yeah, guys, if this was supposed to be a surprise for everybody that me and Bob talked about earlier. And I didn't want to conflict with other people, other hosts and stuff like that. And of course, then I forgot about stuff. So getting old kind of is kind of rough sometimes. But Bob's been a great guest host so far, guest person here. And yeah, you guys, you have any questions for Bob? Please, hit me up right now on Facebook. My Facebook wasn't working earlier. Lisa, you're friends with Tony Dean, and Lisa's always around what I do too. I'm going to start doing hopefully more DJ shows soon too, more music shows at home, and I'm trying to make people happier, trying to make the entertainers, like entertainers like this gentleman here, Joe Leo from Jukebox Legend, Bill Segaris. These guys, they live for this stuff, and they love doing the music that makes people happy, makes people feel good, brings them back to another time. And I want to give shout outs to a bunch of people out there, friends of mine that been friends for years, and I will definitely, shoot you texts, emails, whatever you want. If you want this show, I'll give you this show. But I intend to do this, once a week, every week with a new person. Hopefully, I'm working on a couple celebrities coming up soon. One I just did yesterday, Taylor Mason, which they didn't let me broadcast to, but I'm hopefully going to get it. Okay. I'll ask him again, Lisa. I think he mentioned that in the first time, but I'll mention it again. Lisa Sandifer has a question for you, Bob.
Okay.
I think you answered it, but you can answer it again for her. Okay. What inspired him to get into music?
Me?
Yeah. You, not me. You.
What inspired me, Lisa? Is this on?
It should be.
I don't know.
Put his mic on, Ruben. Ruben?
There it is.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, Lisa. I did talk about this a little earlier. My mother sang a lot in the house, as when I was younger. But my father's side of the family were all musicians. So between that and my musicians inspiring me in the family, I just gravitated towards that and realized that I had a singing voice. And I would sing in my parents' basement. I was telling Gene, maybe you heard it earlier, when I was about 7 or 8, and I would hold a screwdriver and use it as a microphone. And my mother would bring home records, in the late 50s, early 60s. And I would sing to them. I just kept singing. And, you realize after a while, that was my dream. My not my parents so much, but my parents' families. Oh, be a lawyer, be an accountant, do this, do that. I just never got that. I just, I pursued my dream and it worked for me. That's all,
That's good.
Look who's here?
Yeah, I know. You want to come and say hi?
I do, of course. Smile. Hi.
What?
Let me come say hi.
This was supposed to be a surprise.
She just barges in, doesn't she?
I just barged in.
She just.
I had to barge in. Hey guys.
You know who she is, right?
This is so cool. I mean, come on.
Oh boy.
So where were we?
Yeah, there goes the show, Gene. That's it. The show.
No, I know.
This is so cool.
Anyway, the music that you created, whether you said you were second part, listen to me.
I've recreated it. I gave you a couple.
Right.
By the way, I left three CDs for you on the table.
Thank you, baby.
And you must sign them.
Yeah. I've had great fun, doing things with them, and it is, you put people out there. The happenings will be probably in April next year, out again on the road because of this COVID thing. But they still sound great. Bob Miranda still sounds great.
How old is
singing.
he now?
I think Bob's 78 now. Yeah, I think he's 78.
God bless you guys.
And he sounds great, and he still jumps around like a wild man on the stage, like a kid. Really, he keeps himself in good shape. He's out in California, but they'll be out there again. So you can go to thehappenings.com, and they have the tour dates up and stuff. Not much in this year, of course, because of what's going on, but they'll be back on the road again. And you can continue to enjoy them. And maybe I'll be at one of those shows. Who knows? You never know. So.
Well, we just want to welcome you for being here, and she said that you said that she's going to be on her show, so.
Yeah.
Eventually
Yes.
that'll be all
Do we
good
have
too.
to announce that?
You can announce it, whatever you
Announce
want to
it,
do.
baby. Make us famous.
September 16th, right?
We're going to also be interviewing this incredible man on Remember Then Radio.
Awesome.
Okay. And that's
Sep-
September 16th.
Barb and Steve, who were in here, Hamilton Radio, live in studio with us as
Awesome.
well. We're trying to get them back, Gino.
And I also offered Bob. I remember I told you earlier.
Yeah.
If the bands want to perform in here, you guys can do it anytime you want.
Okay.
Woo!
Then we have an open slate for that.
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
I could be your groupie.
we can put about 10 people out there, 6 feet apart.
Bring the whole big band, 17 pieces? No.
Well,
kidding,
but
I'm kidding.
3 or 4 people, 5 people, 10.
I don't
10
have a
people's
band.
little hard.
I don't have a band. I use tracks.
No,
Same with the Jukebox Legends. You know, tracks.
Yeah, and we invited Joe to come back too. So, in closing, is there anything that you want to say comment-wise?
No, just thank you for inviting me up here. I had a great time, and I'm sure I'll have a great time at Jerry's show on September 16th. And I don't know if you'll be able to play any of those tracks I gave you. So
Yeah, because a lot of them are with karaoke.
yeah, so you know they may cut you off, but whatever.
But he gave us 3 CDs, and I'm going to be burning them, and I'll be playing them on Hamilton Radio. And did you want to say anything? Could you say sweeper for me? Say this is Bob Kulik from The Happenings. You're listening to Hamilton Radio?
Sure. Now,
Yeah, whatever you're.
all right. Hi there. It's Bob Kulik, formerly of The Happenings, on Hamilton Radio, and having a great time doing it for Gene Perio and you know, let me put Jerry's name in now.
Okay, it's fine.
Jerry Petito also, folks.
You can add her. She's part of the station. She's been
Yeah,
part of the
okay.
station. That's good. Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you for
Thanks,
listening and
folks.
watching. And,
God bless. Stay well. Wear a mask. You know, that kind of thing.
Yep, we'll talk to you later. Have a good day, guys. All right. Okay.